Okay, we're live. Let me get this bad boy recording. What's going on, everybody? Hope my cash physical therapy community is doing great and you're having a wonderful Wednesday so far. Today, we got a very special treat for you. I got our buddy, our client, Frank, in here to share his story because he's really done something that is extremely special that a lot of people almost put on a pedestal and think that they can't do it or it's only a dream. He's able to build his practice to the point where he was struggling to all the way doing 21,000 this month, Frank?
Just hit it today. Yes, sir.
Let's go. $21,000 a month. And he's had some very consistent and steady growth over the last couple weeks and months. And what I wanted to do is bring him out here to share a lot of the changes and shifts that he's made within his own cash practice to take him from the point where he was just barely hitting that 5 to 7K a month mark and had tried a lot of different things, but really struggled to get this stuff off the ground until he made just a few small tweaks. Yes, we helped him, but it was because of the little tweaks that he made that allowed us and gave us the opportunity to be able to help him and really ultimately led to him being able to have such success and is looking at a very different scenario this year than he thought that he would be in 2023.
Yeah. Way different.
Frank, thank you so much for being here, man. Really appreciate you taking the time.
No, thank you guys. Yeah, like I said, this is the least I can do. Y'all are awesome, and what you've done for me and helped me learn is tremendous in terms of where my life's going to go from here on out. And this is the least I could do. I'm really excited about it.
Good. So everyone on here, if you're catching us live, comment live. If you're catching the replay, comment replay. We're going to be here for about 30 minutes. And if there's any particular questions you have for Frank or myself on shifts that you feel like you might need to make or obstacles that you've had within your own practice that you're really struggling to break through, drop them in the comments. We'd be more than happy to answer any questions and to make sure that you get the help and answers you need to start turning the corner within your own practice. So just for everyone who is watching here, Frank, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, when you started your practice, who you serve, and what your vision is for the business, what you're trying to build here?
Absolutely. Yeah. So started the practice in the fall of 2019 as a mobile business only. And I work part-time at some PRN positions, probably about 30 hours a week doing PRN work in the clinic, and then another 15 to 20 hours a week doing the mobile stuff. 2020, about a year later. So the pandemic started right after I started my business, and the mobile stuff was tough to get traction. People didn't want me going in their homes that didn't know me, all that sort of thing. So that was a little bit of a headache, but I had some people that I worked with in the clinic that just really wanted to work with me outside of that. So just my relationships that I had with patients that I worked with while I was working with other companies kind of helped me transition into establishing a presence in my mobile business. And then in the fall of 2020, my wife and I moved from Jacksonville, Florida to Sarasota, Florida. And that has been huge. The market down here in Sarasota is really good for the physical therapy realm in terms of active people that want to maintain an active lifestyle. So I transitioned down here, got my business going here, again, strictly mobile. And got a significant amount of business that way a lot quicker than I did in Jacksonville, just because I think of the market down here. And in January of 2022, I got a clinic space and just a small 12 by 12, 13 by 13 office, but that's all that I need. And that was another big game changer in helping me really get more people coming in and seeing a higher volume of patients without having to travel to people's homes and things like that. I did the clinic and mobile split all the way through about September of this last year. And I cater towards athletic adults or active adults, people that want to maintain an active lifestyle, with a niche market in pickleball players. So I kind of coined the term pickleball PT as kind of my niche market thing to work into. And pickleball is huge across the country, but definitely really big here in Sarasota. I play myself. It's a really fun game. Give it a try if you've never played. But but people are getting hurt left and right doing that. And people, when they can't play, they get really, really frustrated with it. And I help them with that sort of thing. So that's been a really big game changer in my business as well, is kind of moving into that market and focusing on it in terms of events and things like that. I've had some workshops and stuff where well over 100, 120 people show up. I just did one over the weekend down in Venice, Florida, and I had about 75 people show up for that one. So lots of people interested in learning how to prevent injuries with pickleball. So if there's any of you out there that are kind of wondering if it's a market that you might be able to tap into, give it a shot, because I mean, people are very interested in that sort of thing. But so I do the pickleball stuff, but then I had a buddy of mine. I was doing about 7-8 visits a week on average, and a buddy of mine went through the clinical marketer program, Andy Royalty, and I called him actually. Yeah, so I called him about, I was considering doing dry needling, and I called him about dry needling because I know he does that. And he was like, yeah, it helps. It's a really good thing to implement. But before you do dry needling, I would strongly, strongly, strongly recommend you look into this clinical marketer program. And to be completely honest, I don't think I've told you this yet even, but I saw your stuff on Facebook and things like that. And I was just like, oh yeah, whatever. This is like just a scam. Like this isn't, I completely blew it off until Andy told me about it. And I was like, well, this is a good friend of mine. And he went through it. He said he had a lot of success with it. So I'm sitting where I'm at, and I don't want to be dragging my feet along for too much longer. I've got one daughter that I was just telling you is 16 months old, and I got another on the way in a couple months. And I was like, it's crunch time here. So we gotta make a move, and make a move that works. And I trusted Andy with what he said, reached out to you. You guys have been great. Your customer service is fantastic. Everybody on the team from top to bottom is awesome. And within joining in August to now, I've gone from 8 visits a week on average to this last week, I was at about 34. So a huge jump in the number of visits. My evals are converting. I'm converting to packages. I've got a whole lot better at my confidence in sales, which is where I struggle the most by and large, is being able to confidently get somebody in and say, okay, this costs $1,500. Where do you want to go from here? And getting them to the point where they were, they realized everything I knew they could do, but I just didn't have the confidence or the knowledge and ability to word things in a way that got them to the point where they were at the same page as me. But that's what this program has really helped me out the most with, is teaching me the steps to not only get people in the door that I wouldn't really ever have access to, but then once they're in there, be able to confidently explain to them, like, listen, I'm the one that could help you the most. And if you want to fix this problem effectively for good, this is the way we do it, and this is how much it costs. And yeah, 91% of my evals over the past month and a half have converted to the packages because of what you guys have taught me and everything that you guys have shown me in the step-by-step process. And it works. It really, really works. If you just you stick to it and then practice and get better at it. The first September, October had some, rocky stuff, but then November, December, my schedule just started getting more full. Conversions started getting more effective and more just consistent. And then, I went from $7,000 a month in August to, I think I'm over, actually, I just sold another package that I wasn't expecting this afternoon. So that was another 1,200. So I think I might be over 22.
Let's go.
I think, yeah.
I'm ringing the bell for you, man. I'm up, my hand over it so I don't break anyone's eardrums in here. But that's incredible, man. You cracked 22 then today?
It's I think so. Yeah, I went and deposited the cash in the bank. He paid up front in cash, so I went and deposited it, and I'll have to run the numbers tonight when I go through my final booking count. But I think it's going to be over 22.
Right, and what's the closest you've ever come to that revenue in the past?
Oh, last month was right just under 12. So literally a 10K increase in 1 month's time. Just getting more and more confident and proficient with the process and letting things go from there. And and then word of mouth is huge too. I mean, the customers that I've got in from the program that you guys put together and the process that you have, people talk. They're walking billboards if you do a good job. So that has been just as huge as the ads and everything else as well.
Heck yeah, man. And obviously you've been an absolute pleasure to work with, and I appreciate everything you just said. We're definitely going to have to clip that. But I want to give everyone on here the context and the backstory and the strategies that you've used that have allowed this to happen. You've talked a lot about the things that we taught you. I want to give everyone on here the juicy details of what exactly that looked like so that they can leave this call here today with something to be able to start doing tomorrow and the next day to start making more sales, attracting more people. So if you're on here live, we got quite a few folks on here. Ben, Ty, Lauren, Angie, Max, Mitch. It's really good to see all of you on here. So if that sounds good, you want to hear exactly what Frank has done and what he's shifted and the actual details, the strategies that you can take to run with tomorrow, drop a comment or something or an emoji in the chat so we can see you on here. We can get pumped up, see your name on here. And if you have any questions, make sure to ask them below so we can get to those in the end. So, Frank, now that you have adjusted so many things, what do you feel was the biggest mistake that you were making previously before you joined our program that kind of kept you stuck at that 5-7K mark?
Not charging enough for every single interaction that I had. I was doing free assessments, which was taking up a ton of time, and a lot of times they weren't converting because of, from what I understand now, and it makes total sense, and it really is true, that psyche of somebody giving something away for free, it just does something to what somebody's coming in for. So I was getting a lot of people coming in for assessments and then never hearing from them again. I was giving them all the information they needed and they were taking that and running. So charging for assessments was huge, and then raising my rates overall across the board and then starting to focus more on packages, and the price anchoring concept is awesome. I mean, that is a true game changer of really ramping up your single visit rate, and then saying so single visit for me now is $250, and then I've got a 6-visit package that's $175 on average, and a 10-visit package that's $150. And before I started the program, my single visit was $135, and so and then I had packages that were like 100, and then one at like 85 or something like that. Just really looking back on it, foolish, but I didn't know. I had no idea. I was just kind of going with, I'm not a business person. I'm a doctor of physical therapy. I didn't know all of these things. So you guys really helped level in my mind where I should be in terms of my rates and what my value was. And I always knew I was a really strong clinician, and I've always had good results, whether I was in the insurance realm or mobile or in my clinic now. And people have had a great experience with me, but I didn't quite know how to price that service. And you guys helped tremendously with educating me on that and giving me the confidence and the systems to put that into place effectively, and to just ramp up my confidence from, where it was a few months ago to where it is now. It's nowhere near. It's not even in the same realm or stratosphere. It's so the evaluations, charging for your time there, and then raising your rates, those two things have been probably the biggest thing. And then the systems you guys helped put into place as far as lead management and lead generation and reaching people that I otherwise never would have had access to. Google ads I was doing for a while, but it wasn't working nearly as well as the Facebook ads and the targeted stuff, and being able to create your own messages and use things that resonate with people. That I can't tell you how many people read through my ads and they come in and they're like, everything that you said in that ad was everything I've been thinking and dealing with for the past few months. And it was just like, it was like divine intervention, like God just said, hey, this is your guy, go to him. So people literally, I've had 2 people that literally said that exact thing. Like, what you had in your ad was exactly what I've been dealing with. I've gone to chiropractors or gone to doctors or whatever it might be, and nobody could get the solution. But when I saw what you had in that ad, it was just like, it just spoke to me, and I said, let's give this a try. And those were pretty easy sales there.
Heck yeah. Who wants to see, or at least know, what Frank's ads saying and what has been getting these prospects not only chase Frank down and get on a schedule, but what spoke to them at such an emotional level where they likely already decided they want to buy your packages before they even showed up. If you guys want to see those ads, this isn't something I had planned on, but if you want to check those out, drop them me in the comments, and maybe we can pull one of those up and give you a little sneak peek behind the curtain of what successful ads look like. Okay. So you said a few things that I want to dig into, because everybody, there's not a single person that I've talked to over the phone, besides people who have already been through some sort of mastermind, that don't say, I know I should be charging more, but they still don't do it, because there's a lot of mental blockage preventing people from being able to do that. So obviously we gave you a lot of training and exercises to help you feel comfortable in it. But is there any advice you can give to some of the people on the call right now that know they should be charging more, but just can't get that push to finally get themselves to do it? Like, how did you start to feel comfortable with it?
So it was reading a book, and it was I was going through this book, and it was essentially, it's a book about it's called The E-Myth Revisited. So it's not on the list of books that you guys gave me, but it's a book that a guy wrote about why most small businesses don't succeed and how to go about avoiding those issues there. And one of the big ones was, if you're always inside your comfort zone, you're not going to be growing. And that's one of the big take-home points from it.
Absolutely. And appreciate the book recommendation. Someone who's on the call here, we got a lot of engagement. I appreciate everyone. It always makes these a heck of a lot more fun. Write down that book recommendation so people can easily find it. I have another one that, if you haven't read, Frank, you would really love it. And everyone on the call here that feels uncomfortable as a healthcare provider, or as someone who's just naturally a highly empathetic individual that just wants to help people, not for the money, but because you just want to help them just to help them. A book that I'd recommend to you is a book called How to Make One Hell of a Profit and Still Get to Heaven. This is an absolutely incredible book that's going to completely shift your thought process and the way you view money in regard to how you help people make other people's lives better. So definitely check this one out. It's a really good, really fascinating read. There's nothing quite like it on the market, but I've heard a lot about the E-Myth Revisited. It's one that I haven't checked out, but you're like the fifth person in the last 2 months that said something about it. So I'm gonna have to check that one out.
I started reading it right when I started the program, and it was just like everything that you guys were teaching and everything that is in this book kind of almost just like correlated perfectly, where I was just like, it started to click with me really, it just resonated a lot. And then I just started to say, well, what do I have to lose? If these people are coming in and I never see them again, what do I have to lose? Let's give it a shot. And it was almost something like when you said, hey, this session is going to be 175 or this session is going to be 200. It was almost just like, well, you could tell the gears were turning in their head. Like, clearly this is going to be something that works, or otherwise this guy would have no justification in charging this much. And, I had some decent Google reviews leading up to that. That's another thing that I posted some in my office and just said, you could read this one, you could read this one, you could read this one. And then once they start going through that process as well, that's another thing that's really helped is having Google reviews visible in the office, where people, if whatever it might be and something's not going on, their attention gets diverted and they're just reading those things. That's been and people reference those as well in my office, like, oh, that sounds like what I was dealing with, or that sounds like what I was dealing with, and if you could help me out with that, and then using that as a transition into an anecdote about, oh yeah, I was seeing them for similar issues that you were dealing with and got them feeling better in a month and whatever, and no pain pills, no surgery, all that sort of stuff. It's the more personal you can make it to their problem and their lifestyle and their goals, and then make it seem like you're going to be the one that's going to be able to fix their issues, people are much more likely to buy in.
100%. And there's so much research out there that it goes behind the perceived value of something, what the price of that thing is. You see it run rampant in the bottled water industry as well as wine. The higher the price, the higher people are like, oh, this must be really, really good. And so they believe it's going to be good. And there may even be some placebo effect in there, but people have more belief in the value of something when it is higher price. And I think a really common false belief that a lot of healthcare providers carry, and if you're watching this right now and you are at this point within your business, drop a me in the comments, but you feel like because your practice isn't where you want it to be, you need to price yourself lower because it means that you're going to get more sales and less resistance when buying.
That's where I was.
And that's where most people are. So tell me, these days you're closing evaluations at 91%, which is incredible. That is a huge accomplishment, and you should feel extremely proud of that, because very few people ever get to that point. Were you closing even close to that before you increased the rate?
No. I was more in the 40 to 50% range at best, when I was giving away free evaluations, especially. But yeah, what you just mentioned and the price and the perceived value and all that sort of stuff, but you also have to deliver. You can't charge 200 a session and then not get people what they want and then be like, what the hell? Like this
Right. Right.
You have to deliver, and you have to have the skill set to deliver, but you know, the experience, the results, and the whole process from onboarding all the way through every single session and just delivering something that I get tons of people that say, you know, I've been to tons of doctors, tons of therapists, chiropractors, all that sort of thing. I never get this sort of personal attention. I never get the, you know, reaching out for follow-ups or confirmations the day before or whatever it might be, opening up your hours and just availability on weekends and evenings and that sort of stuff. It goes a really long way. And those are the sort of things that they take a little bit of extra time on your end, but that's what gets people to talk. What gets people to go into work and say, oh, your shoulder's bothering you. I got a great therapist I'll recommend to you, all that sort of stuff. So it goes a hell of a long way in terms of growing and developing a reputation and becoming that top therapist in your community, just going the extra mile on a consistent basis. And that's all stuff that you guys have helped me really put together a system for as well within the program. I mean, you guys got it dialed in, and it's hopefully I'm proof of that. I know that I am. Yeah.
Yeah, heck yeah, you are, man. You've been one of our most favorite people to work with. It's been an absolute pleasure. And you make it pretty darn easy for us too. Obviously increasing your price is very important, had a very big impact on your sales and just the types of people you're bringing in and how much you had to try to prove to them that you're worth it. But as you mentioned, it's not enough just to increase your rate. You also have to deliver the experience and the outcome that is expected when people are paying for that premium rate. So is there any, what are some core things that you changed within your sales process that have really led to this 91% eval to package conversion rate?
So lots of nurturing and lots of attention to detail. When I have that initial, when I get a lead for whatever method it comes in, whether it's word of mouth or whether it's the Facebook ads or it's a Google ad or if it's just somebody giving me a call that Googled me on whatever the lead is, taking time to really ask the right questions, listen, take notes, and then bring up some strong individual personalized points in that nurturing process going forward. Even if it's like 2 days after an initial consultation call or something, like reaching out to that person just with an email or a text saying, hey, it was great talking with you, just checking in and see how your shoulder's doing, that sort of thing, like little things that other healthcare practitioners don't necessarily do. And then when I do get them in for the evaluation, one of the big things that I've noticed that people actually tell me, like, wow, that this isn't a normal thing, is I take the time to prepare for those assessments, and I read through the notes that I gathered from those consultation calls, and I come up with like a plan of action for that individual's assessment. And I tell them, I say, I've taken, my own time to put together how I want this evaluation to go. This is my plan. This is why I set it up this way, because you have XYZ goals and XYZ issues. This is the plan that we're going to go through today. If anything happens to change at any point, we'll modify as necessary. But I put this together. Hopefully it goes as well as I think it's going to go. And hopefully by the time you're done, you have a firm understanding of what you're dealing with, why you're dealing with it, and how to fix it. And I'm the one that's going to be able to fix it for you because this plan went as well as it did. So before they even start the assessment process, they know that I've taken time to think about what they need, to come up with a plan and put things together. And then I also let them know, like, listen, if at any point you have any questions or anything's bothering you or anything at all, like, you're just as involved in this as I am. So that really gets them to realize, like, okay, it's not just me sitting here and doing what he tells me, like, I'm a part of this process, I'm involved as well. So it gives them an understanding that I've actually put my time into it before they even arrived, and they're just as involved in the process as I am in getting this situation resolved. So the more they can feel like they're a part of the equation and not just kind of like a number that is getting moved around or a little chess piece here and there, that sort of thing, the better as well. Yeah.
Heck yeah. And that's all stuff that you do. Do you email that to them email that to them prior to their evaluation? That's a manual thing?
That's what I tell them in person. Like when they come in for the assessment, I say, I've set some time aside. I've planned out what this assessment is going to include and exactly what I want and exactly how I want it to go. And hopefully it all goes to plan. And if it does, then there's no doubt about it. I'm the one that's going to be able to fix your issues and we're going to be able to fix this together, sort of thing.
Right. Yeah. And as a consumer, that feels freaking good, knowing that someone actually took the time to do their research, do their homework, put together a plan of action, personalize that experience to them. There's very, very few folks in healthcare that take the time to do that. So I think that's brilliant. What do you do from there? Like, what do you do during the actual evaluation? Or what have you changed prior to what you were doing in the past that has also helped?
So a lot of educating and explaining. I use my computer, I use my phone, I bring up images, I show where muscles attach, I show where nerves go, I do all that sort of stuff. So it really, the more they understand about what's going on and how much I know about what's going on and how to go about fixing the issue. And I do a lot of test, retest stuff. I do a lot of like, had somebody in today that had a weak glute med on the right side, and I just did a quick 2-minute mobilization of the tissue and retested it, and it was immediately stronger. And they're like, that's like, how is it, like, how did that make that much of a difference? And it's those little things where it's like, okay, that was just a minute of stuff that, if you came in for a full hour session, imagine how much better you can feel, sort of thing. So giving away little kind of just like snippets of what your skill set is and what you have to offer and how it yields immediate results gets them to be like, okay, like if he did that in 5 minutes, how would an hour-long session go, and how would 6 visits go, or how would 10 visits go? How much better could I be feeling at that point in time? And so just giving little just tastes of things of what you can do, and then explaining why you did it and how it made a difference. And then, the education goes a long way just as much as everything else that you're doing.
Right. So you're teeing it up by showing how personalized your treatment is right out of the gate. You're doing some sort of action that gets them to feel immediate momentum. Mm-hmm. Is there anything else? You mentioned price anchoring before. How are you adding price anchoring into the equation here? And for the people that might not know what price anchoring is, can you explain it?
Oh yeah, so that's been a huge game changer in terms of that just getting people to settle in on the ideal price that you're already wanting to charge anyways. So it's essentially setting your single visit at something that if they end up saying I'm going to go single visit, it's like, great, whatever, that's fine. So my single visit is $250, and my packages are 6 and 10. And that's another thing. I had Ben help me out a lot with this, at just not complicating my options and just keeping it simple, 2 or 3 things to have them choose from and not give them a lot. I had like a 15 visit, a 12 visit, a 10 visit, an 8 visit, a 6 visit, like too much. So I have a single visit at $250 and a 6 visit package at $175 average, and then a 10 visit package at $150 average. And $150 for 10 visits, if they pay for that up front, is already $15 a visit more than I was charging at the very most before I started the program. And they're committed and fully bought in. And that's somebody that's definitely going to be leaving a review and telling other people about you and all that sort of stuff too. So the price anchoring is essentially setting your single visit rate at something that is just sounds so much higher than what your other package options where you really want them to settle in are. That makes them say, well, 6 visits at $175 is actually a great deal if your single visits are at $250. So let's do that, or the other one. Yeah. So it's kind of setting the stage to get them in the mindset where they're like, okay, this is clearly a good deal. And they're committing to the entire plan of care up front. So drop-offs are less and all that sort of stuff. So it's just it's a great system for selling packages and then getting people to convert through their whole plan of care. And then you get the results you're looking for in terms of they're feeling better and doing better, and then gives them more opportunity to tell other people about you as well. So
that's huge.
Yeah.
So if you can just do those 3 things, I guarantee you're going to make more sales. You're going to feel more comfortable in it. So those things were, 1, start off the evaluation, really making it crystal clear that you did your homework, you prepared, you customized their treatment. You get them to create take some sort of action where they can feel the true momentum, they feel the progress, to get them thinking like, oh my God, what can we do in 7 visits if we go that route? And then lastly, when you do make your pitch, use some sort of price anchor to show them, here's what you do, here's what it'll cost if you do the visit by visit section, and here's what you do if you just buy a package. And are most people, which package are most people buying?
6 visits
Six visits?
is definitely the most common. Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. And anything else to add just on sales advice for people who are just not comfortable with it?
Well, I mean, it just takes practice. It is, you gotta, even if you're trying to just, I mean, sell anything, you don't even have to be selling PT stuff. Try to sell people stuff, try to sell your wife where she wants to go out for dinner that night. If she wants to go somewhere, and try to sell her somewhere else, just try to work on sales in general. But also another big thing is just on, not necessarily in the sales realm, but the lifestyle change that comes with being a business owner and trying to put like every duck in a row that you can. As far as a thing that I got out of the program as well is taking time to read, taking time for yourself, taking time to go to the gym, taking time to diet right, taking time to do the things that keep your body functioning and performing at an optimum level as much as possible. Get that peace of mind and that clarity, because as you start to get busy, things start to get stressful as well. You're getting pulled in all different directions, and it just feels like, you never have enough time to get all the emails answered and all the texts sent out and all the questions that people are asking you and all that sort of stuff in a row. But it seems counterintuitive. Like if I take an hour to go work out and that sort of thing, that's less time that I have to do all this other stuff. But it's really the exact opposite. If you take that hour to treat yourself and be mindful of taking care of yourself, it makes all of those other things a whole lot easier to manage and handle, and your clarity is better. Your overall performance with all of it is much better as well. So that's another big advice component that I would like to come across with this interview as well.
And I'm really glad you brought that up. So many people get hung up around the marketing and the sales and all of this stuff, when a lot of the cases, if you just focus more on improving your own well-being and taking care of yourself, a lot of the times that is immediately reflected into the business as well. So a lot of people just need to take a step back away from the business, just work on themselves, and they'll start to find that momentum that they've been looking for. Appreciate you bringing that piece up. So I think it's so important.
Yes, sir.
So we've talked about the model changes you made. We talked about the sales changes you've made. Now let's talk a little bit about the marketing. Angie asked a great question about, where do you get the majority of your leads? Where does your marketing take place?
So I got, for whatever reason, and I've talked to other people, that the shoulder ads that I run, the shoulder ones are by far and away like just killing it. I don't know the exact metrics off the top of my head. I could pull it up right now here. Let me just real quick to see. So
I'll pull up one of your shoulder Facebook ads. We can show people an example of what one of these looks like. So you're running. We're testing about, let's see, 1, 3, 6, 9, 12. We got 13 different ads running all at once, and that's how all of our clients do it. Minimum, we're always split testing at least 12 ads. Let's pull up this shoulder ad here. I'm not going to give away that particular one because that one's just a powerhouse. Let's go with one of the split tests against it. Okay.
So there's one that I'm looking at right now. So that's a new one. So yeah, that one doesn't have but that, to my point about really diving into what people are complaining about and their symptoms and all that sort of stuff, that one really, that one covers all the bases. And I've had a few people come in referring this one as well. But that diagram as well, and pay attention to what people are telling you in your assessments and your evaluations and what they're complaining of. And if you notice a trend of people coming in with the same issues and the same things, like dial that into your ad and make it so it's going to be much more likely that when they see it and they read it, it resonates with them. So that sort of text there and that particular setup of the ad in terms of the creative as far as the wording. In the last 2 months of that set of ads, I've had 62 leads in 2 months and $25 a lead. And 91% of those leads, if they're are converting to evaluations, it's working well. Yeah.
I'd say.
So definitely getting a lot from the ads, and then word of mouth as well. And I do a lot of marketing events and things like that too, like the one that I just did this past weekend with the pickleball in particular, just getting in front of people in that niche market and talking to them about how to prevent injuries or how to perform better or whatever it might be, and just getting them to understand that you're somebody in the area that specializes in what they love to do, and if they have a problem with it, you can help them out better than anybody else can. And it's just, again, stepping out of the comfort zone and getting in front of the people that you know are gonna be the ones that are likely to buy from you.
No doubt, no doubt. So the three primary ways of getting patients are the workshops, the Facebook ads, and word of mouth.
Word of mouth, yes, sir.
How would you split that up as like a percentage? Like percentage of my clients come from Facebook ads, workshops, word of mouth.
I would say 40 Facebook ads, 40 word of mouth, 20 workshops.
Heck yeah. No, that's beautiful. Angie, let us know if that answers your question. So Frank, we've covered the three bases surprisingly in the order that you need to solve them. So there's no point in working on your sales when your model's broken. There's no point in working on your marketing if your sales are broken. So the flow of all of this was beautiful. So for some of the people who are really just stuck, they're not even sure if they want to continue to do this, who may be considering joining our program or talking to us to see how we can help. Any advice for those individuals? This is absolutely a shameless plug.
So, I mean, like I said before, I was extremely skeptical to the point where I didn't even click on any. I was just like, these guys are whatever. They're just trying to take money. There's no way this works, all that sort of thing. But once I went through it, and once I've kind of gotten firsthand experience working with you, working with Ben, working with Max, working with AJ, working with the whole crew, everybody involved from top to bottom, from setting up the ads to checking the ads to the check-in calls to everything else. It's how I want people to feel when they come in to see me. Like, this guy cares about me. This guy wants me to do better. This guy has my best interest in mind. And every one of you guys exemplify that and personify it to the fullest. And if you want a program that is going to change your life in terms of being a business owner, in terms of being a healthcare practitioner, in terms of being a community resource, in terms of being where you wanted yourself to be when you became a physical therapist, and then if you're on a cash practice track, no doubt about it, this is the way to go. And I will give you my personal email and phone number if you want to reach out to me in 3 months after starting the program. If you think it didn't work well for you, I know you won't be saying that it didn't. I know that you will absolutely be like, this was the best move I possibly could have made. And if I would have called Andy and he would have told me about dry needling and not told me about clinical marketer, there's no way I would be hitting 20K plus this month after, just 150 days. There's no way. So it's much more about your skill set and getting leads and converting leads and then keeping people happy and having people talk about you than it is about any licensure or any continuing education or any of that other stuff. It's like, this is it.
Heck yeah, and that, you have no idea how happy and how much that means to the entire team to hear that stuff, because working with people like you is why we love what we do. And it's how much we care is a huge reason why our program is not a good fit for everybody, because not everyone needs or wants the level of kind of hand holding that we gave here. So we appreciate the heck out of you saying that and all the support that you've given us and all the hard work you put into making all this stuff happen for you. So to kind of close things out, what is the goal that you're shooting for that we can all cheer you on for behind the scenes over the next 90 days? What are you trying to get to?
So I would love to get to the point where, so in Sarasota, there's snowbird season. So it's hard to say exactly how much of my volume is from people that are going to be leaving in a few months. I would love to be able to keep my schedule consistently busy and full, booked out all the way through the next 90 days. And I would love to get to the point where I'm looking to hire some administrative help. And because of some leasing issues and things with my clinic, I'm locked into that smaller space for the rest of this year. But I would like to get to the point where I can steadily continue to grow in terms of my reputation and my client base here, to where when that lease is up, I'm ready to move into a much bigger clinic, bring more help on as far as other clinicians, and just gradually overtake the reputation of these insurance-based clinics as being the go-to guys for physical therapy, and me step into that role and do it in a way that people don't even have a problem coming to me and paying cash rather than using their insurance.
Well, we're all cheering for you. I have no doubt that you're going to be able to maintain the caseload that you've grown accustomed to, and you'll be hiring here pretty darn soon. Something that you should consider, and we should start planning behind the scenes and work on this together, is expecting that drop from the snowbird season. We should get a promo cycle together and a unique offer for the people who stay there year round to make up for that dip, similarly to what we do at the end of the year promo cycle to make up for that holiday dip. So we'll sidebar about that. But everybody, if you're on here, make sure you thank Frank for jumping on here and sharing the details of the biggest changes he's made that has allowed him to go from 7K a month to crushing his first 22K month ever. I wish him the best on his journey over the next 90 days as he's not only welcoming his second daughter, right?
Yes, sir. Yep, another girl.
Second daughter in late March and April, while he's also building his practice and getting his practice to that next level. So Frank, thank you so much for being here.
Hey man, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah. So we will